And welcome back to the show. If you're new here, my name is Mitchell. In today's episode, I'll be talking about by 2030, 45% of women will be single. So I do these YouTube lives every Tuesdays at 7 p.m. Pacific time, 10 p.m. Eastern time, Saturdays at 12 p.m. Pacific time, 3 p.m. Eastern time. And if you guys do find this video content of value, you guys could show your appreciation by donating any amount that feels equal to the value of this video. Details will be in the description. Of course, as always, I usually do a recap episode. And here it is. So I have a recap episode and I have 4 slides I will be talking about today. But I thought this was a really interesting topic. I found this on CNN. I don't know how they pulled up this number, but hey, you know what? I want to see how true this is. This was dated back to 2019. So, anyways, 2030, 45% of women will be single. But let's talk about the recap episode first. So the recap is on you cannot date without being vulnerable. What's up, Tracy? Good seeing you here. So you cannot date without being vulnerable, and you got to opening up, right? It may be difficult. So here it is, because opening up means that they're potentially going to think differently about us, reject us, or worse, use what we say or use the things that we're telling them against us. You know what I mean? That's not something that I would want. I wouldn't want to tell something that's dear to me and then have somebody use that against me. And if it has happened to you, you're not the only person. And that, you know what, it just taught me that, you know what, Mitchell, maybe just keep your mouth shut sometimes, and that's okay. It doesn't mean you're lying to them. You're just not sharing all the information to them. You know what I mean? It's about risking getting hurt, right? Being vulnerable, right? But I talked about how you can't be vulnerable without talking about shame. There's shame involved, right? And you know, that's, if you're interested, that's in my previous episode. But here it is. And it isn't about getting hurt that you should really be focusing on. It's knowing that in a relationship, there will always be a point where this, you know, the infatuation, or you could call it the honeymoon phase or whatever, it's going to die down. And it's how you could build it back up by start dating with each other. Maybe create some space with each other, you know? And I find it really interesting that a lot of guys nowadays, they can't really they think space in a relationship is her leaving. Okay, I put it on guys, girls too also, but it's usually the guy, right? When the guy wants to take a step, or when the lady wants to take a step back, the guy kind of acts like this person that doesn't like his mommy went away. You know what I mean? So it's like, and it comes across as you're not really that centered. You're not really this guy that's really on your purpose. You're not really doing anything for yourself. Because if you are, you're not going to be too worried about me. Don't worry, I'll come back. But this is the exact reason why ladies won't come back, because that guy stopped acting like a man, right? So, you know, knowing that in any relationship, eventually you're gonna get hurt, okay? Especially intimate relationships, but you're bound to get hurt sometimes, and it's knowing that you will be okay when that does happen. Okay, so what are you doing to prevent yourself from getting hurt, right? A lot of people use this as a safety net. They're using this to line up potential suitors, potential mates, to fill in the void, right? That's what life does. Life fills voids, right? So it's and most people, they try to build this Frankenstein boyfriend or Frankenstein girlfriend or whatever, right? What they're lacking. Oh, maybe she's not giving me sex over here, so I will get it over here, which is called cheating, right? Especially if you're in an exclusive relationship. And don't get me started on open relationships, okay? Don't get me started on open relationships. Or what you call swingers, okay? Because hey, I've heard about it. I have my opinions about it too, as well, okay? But anyway, let's move on. Some people line up potential mates, and are you working towards becoming the person that you want to be, right? Someone that's emotionally resilient, emotionally regulated, stable, grounded, centered. I talk about that all the time. It's super important to know that you as a person, you're a grounded person, okay? Because if you're not grounded, especially if you're a guy and you're not grounded, holy shit, How is she ever supposed to trust you as a guy in a relationship? You might have a lot of muscles, you might be financially stable, but yet something comes along the way, throws you a little off center. Now you're acting like a bitch, right? It don't matter how much money you got. If you can't act like a man, she won't stay. She won't stay. So I mean, you either learn the game or you're gonna be out of the game. Okay, call it a game if you want. So, and this isn't about not trying to feel anything, but having a relationship with yourself about positive and negative emotions, right? So it means that when I say emotions, I don't people think like there's good emotions and there's bad emotions. No, emotions are emotions, right? Like what if someone told you that jealousy or being or being sad is a really great thing, right? Imagine that. Imagine the world being sad is a good thing. It's good. It's good. It's good that you're sad, right? Imagine that how it would change your perception about things, right? So when good things happen, everyone's happy. But when quote unquote bad things happen, or things that like are feeling sad, jealous, betrayal, yeah, all that, like, well, betrayal is not an emotion. Betrayal is a behavior. But if they did something, right? Like all these feelings that you have is gonna be juicy. Yeah. Thanks, man. Don't get me started about the TikTok earlier too. I got a lot of people being upset, but it's okay. I understand the frustration because the dating pool out there kind of sucks, right? Um, but anyways, let's talk about this. Um, yeah. So positive and negative emotions, right? It's just emotions that you have. And look, when I'm sad and I'm upset, I sit down and I shut the hell up and I'm like, all right, Mitchell, what you're gonna why do you feel this way? Why do you feel this way? Why are you upset? Or why do you feel jealous? Or why do you feel like this, right? The one time you were, yeah, I know, they were pretty pissed off. Not pissed, but they're like, oh, woman power. And great. All for you. But I feel like that energy was shifting towards the wrong reasons. You know what I mean? But anyways, let's go on, right? Let's move on about this. And this vulnerability in a relationship requires both parties to open, right? So doors that keep out happiness, doors that keep out disappointment also keep away happiness, right? So hey, you know what? That's your choice. That's what fear steps in the way, right? Fear is that gatekeeper of disappointment, because you're always fearful. And that's why some people use anger as, to protect their fear. But what's behind anger? It's fear. But fear of what? Oh, fear of getting hurt? Oh, you don't want to get hurt no more? So I'd rather not date? That's easy. But don't be complaining if no one's good out there, okay? Because you're not trying, okay? Go try yourself. Become a better person. Stop sitting on your ass, all right? That's what I'm talking about, all right? I'm grand. How are you? I think everyone's just a little busy, which is okay. It all happens. Sometimes it fluctuates. It don't matter. The show will still go on, all right? And maybe it's the fact that nobody wants to know about this, because they're like, what do you mean 45% of me is going to be, single? Like, what? You can face reality. You got to face reality. But I'm also here to increase your chances too. So yeah, hear me out. All right, so so a relationship needs trust. Number one, it needs trust. And a lot of people are like, no, they need to prove to me. It's like, wrong energy, girl. Wrong energy. Because imagine I went out there and was like, that girl need to prove to me that she's worthy. She'd be like, who the fuck are you? No, I ain't proving shit. Like, I don't need that type of energy. But if I was easygoing, easy to get along with, we're having a great time. Cheers to you, right? I like to drink water on the weekdays, all right? And we're having a good time. We're chopping it up. I'm learning things from you. You're reciprocating. So Mitchell, what do you like to do? Blah 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 and all that, right? Kiki tells me, oh, you know what? I really like this. You know what? I really like your lips too. You got really nice lips. Okay. Why do you say that, Mitchell? I don't know. That's the first thing I thought about. Okay. I'm not creepy though. Okay. Let's take a step back. That was a little creepy. All right. So let me take ownership to that. Right. Shit happens. Shit happens. All right. So let's move back onto this though, which is trust means that you got to give the person benefit out the doubt that they say who they are, or they say they fuck, I can't say that they say they are who they say they are, right? What's up, Shevlin? So let's move on. Okay. The meat of the topic. The meat at the topic. Where by 2030, 45% of working women ages between 25 and 44 will be single. Okay. So this slide is about working together. Okay. How are we going to work together? Because you got this movement, call it woman empowerment if you want, okay, feminism, whatever, I don't care, okay, you do your way, and there's these guys over here, you could call it red pill or whatever, they might not like that, whatever, right? But it's about, wait, I'm about to wonder about drama all live. What do you mean? So anyways, let's move on. There's these two sides that's unwilling to work together because they're like, you suck. But every now and then you get like those few people that kind of branch out. That's a little bit courageous, if you will, right? And it really depends on their intentions, but they go out there. They want to find someone, right? Call it dating apps. Call it maybe I just pick someone up at wherever you were out at, even somewhere in the evening, you pick someone up, whatever, right? You might get lucky, you might be able to attain it, but how are you going to sustain it, right? It depends on what you want too. Do people want to have a long-term committed relationship, or do they prefer to just have fun? And if that's what you want to do, by all means do that, but at least have to be honest about your intentions. Like, hey, look, I'm not really looking for a relationship. But most people can't do that. You know why? Because they're too busy trying to satisfy the temporary needs. You know what I mean? And so it's like, what do you truly want? And if you lie to yourself, you're not going to get anywhere in life, right? So you got these two people, but at the end of the day, if I'm telling, okay, look, let me, if someone good walked into your life because you worked hard on yourself, trying to become a best version of yourself, and then you start eating better, you start going to the gym, you start taking care of yourself, right? You finding a good stable job at the same time, right? You're having good income, and on top of that, you are a fucking amazing person, okay? You value commitment, you value loyalty, you say what you mean and you mean what you say, you're open-minded about things, right? All these great qualities. You're good with communication, you don't like drama, okay? You save drama for Netflix, okay? And then it's like, and these are just some of the baseline things, right? Like, these are, and this is what you possess, and you see that in the other person too, where your goals and values align. Are you going to tell me you're going to say no to that person? I don't want anybody. Don't say I don't want nobody. Say you can't get him because you ain't there yet. And so that was one of those most humbling things. I remember I was talking to one of my clients and he was like, Mitchell, do you like Lamborghinis? I was like, no, I mean, I think they're cool, but I don't want it. And he was like, he shut my ass up. This is what he said. He was like, Mitchell, don't tell me you don't want it. Can you even get it? No? All right then. Then tell me you don't want it when you could get it. And then it really took me to take a step back and really just listen to that and let that sink in a little bit and be like, wow, okay. Basically shut the hell up until you could get it. Stop saying all these things. Stop saying that you don't want that. Okay? And start going for the things you do want. And maybe you might reach there one day. Maybe you will. Okay? And that was a really humbling experience. 3D to like. Okay, I have to focus on. Let me see. I have to focus on what I'm adding to these notes to this. I want to see those notes, man. I need to see these notes. Um, no, Zach, you're not late. Um, but anyways, let's see. So, let's see. And it's easy to be okay. So I was talking about how like the pill, the red pill, whatever. So I'm gonna give you an example. Okay, I've got hurt before. I've been cheated on before. Okay, and when I was cheated on, guess what? I was pissed off. Okay, and then even and I was young. I was younger. Okay, a lot younger. And I was stupid. I was naive, and I said shit that I didn't mean. Okay, I said this blank ethnicity are all cheaters, so I would not date this ethnicity. Dumbest shit I ever fucking said. Okay, you dumb as shit. But that was past Mitchell, right? And it was easy for me to say that. Guess why? Because then I don't have to work on myself. I just be like, all these blank ethnicity, race, they're just all cheaters. I don't need to work on myself. But then it took me years and years and years to understand and realize, like, look, maybe she was a cheater, okay, Mitchell? Maybe she was. You can only delay the inevitable. But what about you? You ain't perfect yourself. So why don't you start working on yourself a little bit? Why don't you do something? Why don't you have a focus in life? What do you want to do? I don't know. Then start figuring that shit out. Have some fun, right? Figure it out. Figure it out, Mitchell. Do something. You don't have to do it right away, but start like trying new things. What see what you really enjoy, right? And I always find myself going back to doing having a service for somebody, right? Whether it's like personal training or listening to somebody, or now being a relationship coach and giving advice to see where they could take their lives and move forward with that. You know what I mean? Like, I was always this person to provide a good service, and that's what I always want to do, because I like listening to people, but also at the same time, I don't mind listening. It's just that if you're only gonna come back to me and complain, that I might not be the right person for you. You know what I mean? I want to see you have good results, which comes with action. Okay, but like after being cheated on and all this, I was like, forget it, forget it. I was pissed off, but with that type of energy, I was not gonna get anywhere in life. I wasn't gonna get anywhere, and not only that, no one would want me for that. Just ended my fourth relationship. I feel like I'm inexperienced. Well, go out there, have some fun, right? You're 28. We're still young. You know what I mean? Everybody in here is still young. So go out there, have a little bit of fun, but don't be naive about things. You know what I mean? Don't be naive, right? Like, use your best judgment. Okay? But to pull that back and be like, and really just say that this race or ethnicity was all cheaters, is like, that was the dumbest shit I ever said. You know what I mean? And it really took a lot of working on myself to really understand. Not sharing my age. It's all good. You don't have to. We're still young. But hold on, let me see. Yeah. And yeah, it's just a really shitty feeling, you know what I mean? Like, to be cheated on, and then from that you get anger, and from anger and frustration, right? But I didn't know behind anger was fear at the time, and so guess what? Happened? Like, I really limited myself from there, and I didn't really do anything to work on myself. And I did the traditional thing, like, oh, just go work out, just go make some money and do this and do that, right? But then, I didn't really know what I wanted to do. I didn't really have a purpose in life, you know what I mean? And it felt like, yes, I was making money, but I felt drained. I didn't know what I really wanted to do. Doing this, it fuels me, you know what I mean? Seeing you guys here participating and like not complaining about shit, but actually applying it and doing something, right? Now, you could look at statistics and all the numbers, right? Who cheats more, blah, 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 blah. But if you, at the end of the day, right? Even though it says 45% of working women between ages of 25 and 44 are going to be single, by 2030. Like, you could look at statistics and all that, but you know what? It doesn't mean that it has to be you. And the reason why is because not a lot of people are willing to work on themselves. Not a lot of people are good people, right? They might look good up front. They might got a nice face and a nice body, but what does that mean if you're just going to share that with everybody? You know what I mean? So it's like you got to really participate in your own rescue. What are you willing to do? What are some good character traits that you want to put in to yourself so that you could attract the right person, right? Life fills voids. Like attracts like. So guess what? If you're a cheater and you got with a cheater and you're a homewrecker, well, guess what? Guess what's going to happen in your relationships later on? What's up, Shay? It is hard and it's difficult, but you know what? I'm 34, right? I'm not exactly where I want to be in life, but guess what? You know, life is a progression. You know what I mean? Everybody has flaws. Everybody has some things that they need to work on. So that's why life is a whole lot better knowing that you could move towards it with the idea like, wow, as long as I have this aim, I could become better. You know what I mean? So now, a lot of people always talk about they want to be single, and if you want to be single, by all means, power to you, be single. But don't say that because you are fearful, or you're deep down you're hurt, or you've been hurt, and you deep down you would want someone really good, but you're just not really you don't want to work towards that because all men are like this or all women are like this. It's like, hey, but if you want to be single and I don't want to be with anybody, this is the life I want to live, by all means, this is you. I don't get to choose your life. You get to choose how you want to live. But what I do know is one of the basic human needs is for love and connection. I know I'm afraid of being alone and I found out the hard way. That's me. I'm going to be fancy rich aunt who travels vintage French wines. Right? But if you do that, if that's what you truly want, right? But if you think about it, because if you don't plan out your life right now, moving forward is going to be a lot more difficult. You know what I mean? So if you want to attract that right person in your life, start working on it now, right? It's not too late. You just got to be consistent. Do I have to do this for the rest of my life? Yeah, you kind of do, right? It's like saying, do I have to keep breathing in order to live? Yeah, kind of. Yeah, a little bit. I mean, you don't have to breathe, but it's your choice. Right? So, and here's the thing too. There's shitty people out there. There's a lot of shitty people out there. And you're not going to dodge every single one of them. But if you start to work on yourself, you ever notice if you get the same car, you start noticing those cars around you a little bit more. You're like, ooh, that car, right? Or if you have a red car, you'd be like, ooh, that's a red car, because your car's red or whatever, right? I don't know what was that, what psychology thing is, but anyways, it's like you're more attracted to, because that's your focus, right? So if your focus is to work on yourself and becoming a better person, let's just say you're a person that lacked integrity back then. But now you're like, you know what? I want to build myself. If I say something, I'm going to mean it. I'm going to do it. So if I do that, then it means that either I don't say it, or when I do say it, I have to align myself and actually do it. Right. So, and you start working on yourself. Then guess what? Then when you come across somebody that says something and they don't really mean it, well, guess what? You're not going to fuck with them no more. Okay, you're gonna be well aware of that. Because why? Because you know how difficult it was to work on yourself to be that person that you want to be. You're not gonna fuck around with all these other people coming your way and wasting your time. You know what I mean? Because you're already aware of that. Just like the same thing, you know, when you see it, when you drive that car. Like when I got this car, I was like, wow, there's so many of them. All right. So moving on. And not only that, so we got to work together and we have to work on ourselves, right? And I understand this too, which is men have a blue truck. When I see it, I'll automatically focus when I see it. Exactly, right? So it's no different, right? So if you're, let's just say, let's get another example, right? Let's get another example. As simple as Pokemon, right? If a new set comes out, and then you see somebody at Target holding that booster pack, immediately your eyes is just, even though it's like a split second, you're still gonna stare at it, just because you're more attracted to that, because that's what you like. That's what you like. So if you're a person that wants to become a better person, and you're working towards that, and you're working on not being a liar, not being a cheater, and all that, like, most people, they cannot change. I could guarantee most people can't change. Okay, very, very, very few. He's a doctor. Who's a doctor? Oh, Doc Brown. I want to be a Doc Brown from Little House on the Prairie. You got to educate me on that one, Zach. All right, let's move on with this. Let's talk about men, where men are loved with the value they provide, right? And if you guys, if you're a guy and you don't have a job, you don't have any ambitions, you complain a lot, don't really take care of yourself mentally, physically, right, emotionally, and you want things easy, and that there's a lot of people like that, surprisingly, right? Life is going to suck. Life is going to suck, right? You're always going to be focusing on things happening to you, the government's fault, right? Your friends not really helping you. Like, nobody gives a shit about your problems, okay? Nobody gives a shit about your problems, and they're happy that you have it, okay? So you gotta participate in your own rescue, right? Now let's talk about what's really causing this whole 45% of women are going to be single, right? And the driving force is that more women now are delaying marriages. They're choosing to stay single or divorcing in their 50s and 60s. And how I see it is, and I'm just assuming that this is like a heterosexual relationship, or when they say women, I'm assuming that they're using women as they're more feminine. I don't know the true statistics. It's kind of hard to judge that. But what I'm assuming is the guy stops learning how to lead. It doesn't mean that she might not be a Fruit Loop. We don't know that. We don't know if she's a little cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, right? We don't know that. But assuming that she is, right? If the guy doesn't know how to lead the relationship, well, guess what? She's going to find it somewhere else. Now, here's the focus, and this is where most of the problem nowadays. Excuse me. I just ate recently, but if someone is hurt, the solution isn't really to focus on the pain, right? The focus should be on what's causing this, right? What's causing this pain? So, what's causing the increasing numbers of single women? And these are questions that we should really consider about, right? So why are women delaying marriages and choosing to be single, right? Because here's one thing I do know. What I do know is that people would rather be single in a relationship than to be in a relationship and not be heard and not be understood, especially the women, because that's usually one of the biggest reasons why a woman would break up, is when she doesn't feel heard and understood, and you no longer court or date her anymore. You kind of like, she's there, she ain't gonna leave, I got kids with her, we got a house, we got a mortgage, we have work, we have things we need to do. So guess what? They stop working on themselves. Everything starts to like spiral down. It's like, no, when you get into a relationship, it's going to take more work. It means that there's more responsibility. And you might get away with it every now and then because you might be busy at work. But if you're busy at work all the time, well, guess what? She's going to find it somewhere else, okay? And don't be surprised. Now, it doesn't mean that that's the right thing to do. She should leave you first before cheating on your ass. But most people don't do that. They lack integrity. So there's a character flaw on that end, right? And then there's a error on your end. Why didn't you court and date her? Why? Because work was so damn busy, right? And it all boils back down to you. Most guys, they're looking for like this. They don't prevent shit from happening. They wait till shit happens and then they're like, all right, now I'll show up. It's like, okay, but you didn't want to show up before, right? So it shows that humans, we're just all emotional creatures. So let's move back to some of the questions, right? So why are they delaying marriages? Is it because of the movement of, women empowerment? Power to you if that's really what you want. You want to be single, but don't be don't be pointing fingers at men because all men are like this. We both have to work. Okay, you have to work on yourself. I have to work on myself. All right. So here's another thing. There's the next question. Did men stop acting like men? Did they stop becoming that masculine guy? Is it because of all your friends? Are you getting outside influences? There's so many times where I heard poor advice from other people. It's like, why would you take that person's advice if this is what you truly wanted? You know what I mean? I always hear guys say that that's my kid's mom instead of my wife or girlfriend. That's my kid's mom, right? Already, I'm a I'm in a psychology course right now. It's like Mitchell makes me anxious. So why? I shouldn't make you anxious. I always hear, yeah. Oh, he's a doctor from there. All right. So like, there's so many questions. There's too many variables, right? But like I said, here's the thing that what you can do, right? Work on yourself. Work on building your character. Guess what? Because not a lot of people will do that, right? Just think about it. In the West, how many people are overweight, okay, or obese? I think it was like 74%. So what does that mean? If you go to the gym and eat healthy, you're already 75% better than the rest of the people, okay? Or you're not in the 75%, 75% group, right? So take care of yourself. Start taking care of yourself. It means that, yes, you might have to put down a hamburger from time to time. Trust me, I would love to shove a hamburger in my face, okay? And I do. I do that on the weekends, okay? People was like, damn, you eat like shit, Mitchell. I was like, yeah, because I pace myself, okay? This weekend, I'm having some Korean barbecue again at a friend's place. But I'm taking my time. And guess what? I'm not drinking that much no more. Okay, I have a few shots with you, but I don't want to drink 15 bottles, okay? That's a lot. That was a lot last time. And it was between a lot of people. But anyways, it's about really pacing yourself, right? This I'm trying, sometimes it's not enough. I know someone that's been watching my shit for the past 2 years. I was like, have you done anything to work on yourself? I'm trying. Well, guess what? You ain't trying hard enough. Okay? Because you using what I'm telling you as this high, right? Like you could call it seminar high, you could call it a podcast high, right? Like, oh, I feel good. Like, no, you actually have to go out there and do it. Yeah, do it by yourself. Why? Because no one's gonna do it with you, and you just gotta trust that process, right? So, anyways, moving on. Did men stop acting like men? And is a hookup culture too men? Does it provide too many options for ladies nowadays, right? Because if you think about it, women get way more options, right? Especially with the power of how quick you could get a date on a phone versus having a guy show like walk up to you. Like just being on TikTok, okay? There's a lot of people who be like, hey, like they be shooting their shots, okay? They have never done that in person. Or when they do it very, very, very subtly. You know what I mean? Right? So it goes to show that behind the lens or the camera or the phone, it's easy to start swiping and just say, ooh, you're hot, you're cute, right? But if that's all you're really basing it off of, you're not really understanding what that person is. But hey, you know what? They make good money from you swiping, right? Because you got to pay more to swipe, apparently. I don't know. I don't do dating apps, all right? But women have more options. So let's just say your date went actually, let's just say your date went well, but then you have better options. You have 15 other dudes on your phone that's willing to take you out. And you're like, well, this one's cuter than that other one. And so you keep your options open. Absolutely. That's great, right? But then it's going to cause the other person that went out with you, that invested a little bit of the time to be like, okay, and that's where this whole ghosting shit happens, right? And to me, that's still kind of relatively new. Like, people don't ghost each other. They usually tell each other off, at least back in my days. Now I'm aging myself, right? But they don't ghost people like that. But now that's a thing. people just ghost. And I'm like, hey, by all means, if that's what you want to play with, it's easy to avoid confrontation. It is. So if you're already avoiding confrontation already, what makes you think you're really going to confront yourself when you got nowhere else to run and you gotta face your own demons and you're a piece of shit of a human person, and there are some things you gotta work on. You're gonna run away from it, and if you run away from it, where are you gonna go? You can't run away from yourself. Where are you gonna go? Right? So then you start acting in ways of a person with low characteristics, and you start breeding more of them, right? It's easy, right? It's easy. And the easy way is, and then you do other things to cover it up, right? You do other things to cover it up. So anyways, women have more dating options, okay? There's more options for ladies now. I think the statistic was 80% of women only swipe right or say yes to 20% of guys on dating apps. But now, what you really should be focusing on, like if you want a long-term relationship, you should focus on the qualities of a person, the qualities for a longer lasting relationship, which is respect, kindness, right? Having empathy, commitment, being committed, right? Being thoughtful, and saying what you mean what you say, and being honest. And are you a person that wants to be faithful? Do you want to be faithful? And if you don't, then probably dating is or being in a long-term relationship might not be the best choice for you, right? You can't have both. And so those are good qualities you should focus on. So like that's why character is destiny. Your character should be your currency. Those are the things that you should really, really be focusing on instead of how that person looks. Look, you could be with a person that has a nice body and all, you just mesmerized by how they look, right? Call that a halo effect. I think that's what it's called, right? They just look like angels. But don't let that fucking angel choke you with that halo, all right? Because here's the thing. You don't know who they are just because that's how they look, right? That's why you really have to bottom line someone's actions. And you got to take time. You can't rush things that are good, right? Everybody wants to be somewhere quick now. Like, no, you need to take a lot of time to build up to where you want to be. Because if it's that quick, if you got it that quick, what chances are it could go away that quick. You know what I mean? So my belief is that you can't blame the other person for not wanting you. You're not presenting yourself to be the best options. That's usually it, right? Like, you could blame people all they want. Like, hey, if they don't like you, they don't like you, right? If you don't want to be with me, I could blame you, or I could just keep moving, right? I could just keep moving. But my best advice for this, even with the statistics and all the numbers and data or whatever, is you have to be there for yourself and be the best version of yourself. That's what it is, right? If that's what you want to be the best version of yourself, right? Also know what's the market like out there. You should never rush the relationship. And a lot of people like to rush shit. The reason why people like to rush shit is because they feel like here's a reason for guys, right? Guys like to rush ladies in a relationship because they feel like if they don't lock them down, some other guy will take them. How I see it is, if I'm single and I'm out there and I'm dating Kiki, and guess what? If Kiki wants to go with another guy, then by all means, hey, you know what? We had a good run. It's all good. I'm chill. Thank you for saving me some time. Now I actually could, go out and explore a little bit. You know what I mean? But it's not to be bitter about things, because being bitter don't get you anywhere. It does not get you anywhere. Okay. Zach, what'd you say? I'm getting the best version of myself, right? And everybody in here, you don't have to type it out. But I really want you guys to really focus on that one thing and do that for at least a month, okay? 30 days. Do it for at least a month. Write it down. Keep it in front of you. And maybe, like, here's one thing that I used to do, and I probably should do it again, but I have Post-its. The Post-its, and I don't have a million of them. I just have one I want to focus on, right? And I'll leave it where, in the bathroom where I go and brush my teeth every morning. I hope you guys brush your damn teeth every morning, okay? But, that's where I go first, right? You do your thing, and then you go brush your teeth, right? And so when you go brush your teeth, you're like, ooh, nice quote, Mitchell. Keep focusing on it, right? Because what you focus on expands. So whatever the quote that is that really pushes you, do that. What what you mean focus on? So like if there's an area of your life that you really really want to improve on, right? And this requires you to really sit down and think about who you are as a person, right? And be able to admit it to yourself, like, hey, you know what, I'm a little overweight and I should probably go into the gym, right? Because I said that to myself. I was like, damn, Mitchell, holy shit, what happened? Pandemic Mitchell, you just been eating like shit McDonald's. um and I was like, I I gotta stay consistent. Like I can't. I gotta have this there. I have to plan out what I want to eat. Otherwise, if I don't plan it out, I'll just fall for like random shit and be like, ah, this is convenient, so let me just eat this. Oh, it's okay. It's just one meal. One meal leads to the next. You know what I mean? It's like you don't want to break a habit. And if you haven't read that book yet by James Clear, Atomic Habit, I highly suggest you guys to read that. Um, Little example is if you break a habit twice, that's considered a habit already. So let's just say you're like, I go to the gym Mondays and Tuesdays, right? So it's Sunday today. And then the next day it's you break Monday because life got busy, right? Sure. Things happen, okay? Then you broke that again. That's technically considered a habit. Doesn't mean that it's an end of the world, no. But it means that you're developing this next habit of not doing it no more. So, and I'm not perfect myself. So I said I was gonna journal, and I did it for a little bit, but then I broke it, right? And guess what? I stopped doing it. And that was something that I wasn't really aware of. And because I wasn't aware of it, I wasn't thinking about it. Well, guess what? I didn't do it. Because here's also another thing. I don't have the most clutter-free life. You know what I mean? But I'm in a process of doing that right now. I don't want to give too much details, but I have plans of what I want to do to, and I really believe this. I really believe that a clutter-free place is a clutter-free mind. Allows you to focus a little bit better, allows you to plan a little bit better, and that's what I want. Like I want a designated area. For what? For right before I go to sleep, I want to start reading a little bit. I want a little place where the book is there. It's ready and available, where if I sit down, the book is right there. I don't have to travel around the house trying to find that book. You know what I mean? And have an area getting ready to take care of myself. Maybe a stretching right before I go to bed, right? Like I want to do that. Or just set things up ready, so it's really like planning it. You know what I mean? So I highly encourage you guys to do that, because proximity is power. Proximity is power. Okay. So men, if you're writing stuff down, write that down too. Proximity is power, right? So as long as it's there, you're gonna do it. Just do it, right? And I'm just gonna move on to my third slide, which is understand your preferences and your standards. And there are big differences between preferences. I can't even talk. Preferences and standards. So your standards should be things that you're not willing to tolerate, right? Those are standards. These are things that I'm not going to tolerate. I was always told I'm a product of my environment. Yeah. So, and your environment will always trump your intentions, right? So like that example of me, like I throw you into a refrigerator, right? A big one. And I give you all these jackets, and I'm like, all right, good luck. I see you in 24 hours. Good luck. It's going to be really difficult to stay warm in there, right? And I'm not saying that people in bad environments can't make it out. I'm just saying that the chances are slim. You know what I mean? And I feel very blessed. Because, growing up, I wouldn't say my environment was the best. But then I started latching on to different people. The reason why I latched on to different people was because they make me feel safe and comfortable. And there were certain areas in my environment that I really didn't feel safe, right? So I latched on to certain people that knew what was going on, and I was like, wow, like how do you do it? And guess what? Like for example, like I was at the gym and I would go to work early as in the morning, right? There's trainers and they're training each other, and they're like, I was like, why do you always have a book? And he was like, because most people don't read. Yeah, like think about it. If you read one book every year, and most people can't even do that, where would that put you? Up here. I was like, but most people can't even do that because when they see a book, they see 500 pages, right? Even though it's like average book is about 150 to 2 something. Read 5 pages a day. Just start small. You don't have to read the whole book. Start small, right? If you don't like reading, listen to an audiobook. Educate yourself. And I was like, all right. So I started doing that, and I was like, wow, holy shit! Like this mind, like it opened up my mind. And then another time was when one of my trainer friends, she took that book away from me. She was like, Mitchell, have you read that book? And I was like, no, why? She was like, well, if you're not gonna read it, give it back. And I was like, I technically lost it. It was somewhere lost in my house. Okay, I didn't lose it, but it was somewhere in my house. She was like, I was like, oh, I'll just buy you a new one. She was like, no, I want that one back because I highlighted. Those are important to me. I want that book back. That book wasn't given to you. It was supposed to be given to you to read. And if you don't want to read it, give it back, right? So I was like, oh shit. So I finally found it, and I was super happy because I didn't want to be scolded, right? So I gave it back, and then it really took me like about a week to really sit down and think like, why is this book so important to her? She was like, I read this once a year, minimum, which is the How to Win Friends and Influence People. She's like, I read this once a year because it helps me understand. Maybe there are holes in my system that I need to like get ready to patch back up. Maybe there are certain things I need to be reminded, and so that's why, right? But anyways, sorry for the tangents, but let's go back to preferences and standards, right? Standards are things you're not willing to tolerate, right? Things like disrespect, abuse in any type of form, right? Emotional, physical, psychological. In other words, standards should be things that you hold close to you. These are your values, right? So what are your core values? Please write that down. Write down what are some of the things. And look, Zach, Min, I know you're taking notes and stuff. So like, here's the thing. If you don't know your core values, what are some important things that you want in another person? Let's start with that. What is another thing that you want from another person? Well, if what you value is long-term relationships, and you want to have a good relationship with that person, right? How would you act? Or what would you want in that person? So you would want commitment. Okay, that's great. If you want commitment, are you committed? Are you ready, willing, and able? Are you open to even be in a committed relationship? Because if you're not, then you're not going to be it, right? But just don't go into the world of dating and expecting like something magical to fall in your lap. Because if you're not there, even if you attain it, it's not going to be sustainable, right? So if commitment, loyalty, trust, integrity, all this, being humble, being open, being able to communicate, like these are very, very important things for me, right? I'm just giving you some examples. And so if these are things that is important to me and I want it in that person, turn that shit back and face it on you. And do I possess that? And if I don't, or if I feel like I could work on it a little bit better, write that shit down and start focusing on those areas of your life. If I want to be a better person, right? But somehow, some way, I always find myself slipping on, hey, it's just 5 minutes. It's just being late for 5 minutes. Like, it's no problem. Like, no, those are your standards dropping little at a time. And when you start letting your life start dropping a little at a time, next thing you know, you're like, you know what? It's only an extra day of hanging out, right? Honor, courage, integrity, discipline, selfless service is what I value personally, right? And so those are the things that you value. Put them in an order, and what is most important to you in a person like that. Because if it's aligned to what you value and you see that in them, then it's great, right? Then you could be like, wow, that person really honored, like, let's just say integrity was your number one on your list, right? Then you're gonna see if that person has integrity. Why? Because that's what you focus on. Like those are good traits, right? And like being selfless, right? Being able to help other people. So that means kindness is a part of that too, right? You can't be with an asshole now, right? So are they a kind person? Well, am I a kind person? Or do I just like, when things don't go my way, I just start exploding, right? Those are examples, right? So start like writing things down and start like exploring it, right? But yeah, so that's an example. If you don't know what you want, know what you want in the other person and see if you apply to that too. Okay. So do they smoke? I personally cannot be with a smoker. I can't be with someone that does not work out because I value fitness and I value health. And I know that you don't have to lift the heaviest weights or like be a gym rat, but I just need to know that you're a healthy person, right? Like I need to know that you take care of yourself. It doesn't mean that you can't go out and party a little bit sometimes. That's great, but like majority of the time you're more focused on being healthy, right? So I use the 80-20 rule, which is 80% of the week or the month you're taking care of yourself. Within 4 or 5, maybe 6 days out of the month, then you're really going out there and like enjoying yourself. Like I'm not the best version of those values, but I'm pretty close to those values, right? So start working on the things that you're already good at so that it builds more confidence. Then you're more competent on doing those things and improving on that one area that you want to work on, whichever you value most, right? Start working on the things that you already know, right? Because most of the time people, they stop believing in themselves. They stop believing in themselves because they're like, oh, maybe that's too hard, right? Healthy was never impressed on me. Wait, could you say that again? Wait, healthy was never impressed on me till I started getting old. Being healthy, you mean, right? Being healthy was not something you really like focused on, right? Yeah, a little sideline. Something about health is I see a lot of like people, because I used to work at I was volunteering at an outpatient for physical therapy, and I just I see like 50-year-olds, 60. I'm like, they're not even that old, right? And they're taking all these pills, these medications, and it's like, I'm like, I feel bad, but at the same time, not to sound like heartless, but it's like, did you cause this? Like, did you stop taking care of yourself? You know what I mean? Because someone that takes care of themselves consistently, unless something tragic happens, you wouldn't be there. You know what I mean? Like, you don't just magically wake up and I can't walk and my hips lock up and I have tight ass hips and I can't even tie my shoe. Like, that shit happens gradually, just like 100 pounds don't magically go in your body. Like, those things takes time. And although I do feel sorry for you, but I'm also seeing the realistic side. Did you cause this? Like, did you prevent this from happening? And if you like, I'm here to help you if you're willing to do it. But then a lot of people, they see that as, holy shit, this is overwhelming and I can't do this and I just need your help. I need your help. You do this for me. There comes a time where I'm like, yo, I can't do this for you no more, because I'm here to help people that actually wants to help themselves, not me try to do it all for them. You know what I mean? And so anyways, it just made me realize. So then it made me really pull back and be like, you know what? I want to be as healthy as possible to the best I can. I can't predict the future. I can't, but I'm going to do my best so that I could take care of myself, so that nobody else needs to take care of me, right? Whether it's like pills and all that, right? And there's so many things that I don't know, right? But preferences and standards. Okay, so are you a smoker, right? Are you ready, willing, and able? Is this person grounded in a relationship, or do they just like fucking get mad out of nowhere, right? Damn, 320. Now my back sounds like Rice Krispie getting out of bed. Oh, 320. Wow, that's impressive actually, right? So are you taking care of your health, Zach? Right? And if you aren't, because you sit all day, right? Because I got to know you a little bit, Um, yeah, do you stretch a little bit? Do you foam roll, right? It might be uncomfortable. Maybe do some yoga, right? Modify yoga, right? Things that gets your blood move, get your heart moving a little bit, right? Do something, right? Humans are meant to move. Um, so anyways, here's the thing with preference, right? When people say like, and I hear this a lot. I hear girls be like, "Oh, I need a guy that makes six figures." Hey, great, absolutely, if that's what you want, right? Oh, I need a guy that makes six figures, and he's tall, he's handsome, and yada yada yada, right? And you might get that, you might, and if you get it, great, like power to you. But most of the time, these are preferences, right? And usually, if these are type of like shallow type of preferences, makes lots of money, really tall, really handsome, right? Great in bed, all this, right? What makes you think he's gonna stay loyal to you based off these preferences, right? So it's really understanding like the problem with preferences is that you only follow what you want on the surface. And when you only follow what you want on the surface, you lose sight of what's really important, which is the person's character, right? So the longevity of the relationship. Is there any longevity? What what makes a relationship last is a person that has similar goals, similar values, right? Or that also they're also a nice person. They're kind. They're nice, but they're not a pushover. They still know how to act as a person, right? So as a guy in a relationship, he needs to know like I'm still a nice person. It doesn't mean you're gonna step all over me. That's not gonna happen. I'm still nice to you, right? I'm not gonna judge you. I'm not gonna yell at you. But there's certain things that I just won't tolerate, right? So if, say for example, if I'm with this girl, all of a sudden 5 years down the line she pulls out a pack of cigarette, I'm out. I can't deal with it. I hate cigarettes. That's me. I can't deal with smokers, right? That's to me that's a red flag. Okay, that's my red flag. Nope, goes against my value. What's wrong with smoking? Everybody smokes. No, there's some people that don't. Okay, um being healthy is on the list for improvement. Absolutely, right? So if that's one of the things, that's one of the drivers, and that's one thing that you want to work on, put a post-it on it. Min, why you laughing? But everybody smokes. No, not really. Everybody cheats. No, not always. You cheat. Not everybody. Not everybody. Keep that tongue to yourself, right? So anyways, we lose sight of what's really important. And to me, like the thing is, to me, like being kind, being honest, being open, being genuine, like these are things that people value. But to me, I'm like, these are things that are base for human. Yeah, 5 years, I'm gone. Yeah, like 5 years into the relationship, you pull out this red pack of Marlboro, I'm out. That's it. Don't fuck with me. All right. Don't test me. Because if you smoke, I'm not. Oh, but I'm just so stressed. Well, keep that stress to yourself. Because I don't want to be dealing with that. All right. I don't want to deal with that. I don't. No. Hell no. Okay. But I only smoke. But you did not smoke when I was with you. Okay. What made you develop this habit is what made me escape from this relationship. Okay. I am serious. Because don't pull out that pack of cigarette, all right? Just don't pull that out. Don't. No April Fools. No April 1st jokes. Don't deal with me with that. All right. So let's go back to some statistics, which is according to according to New York Post on February 2021, 30% of wives on average earn more than their husbands. Okay. Now, but then back then, 1981, only 15.9%, let's call it 16%, right? 15.9% of wives earn more than a husband on average, right? So it's been 40 years, right? In a time span of 40 years, there has been an increase of 14.1%, right? Which I did some math, right? Because I use a calculator. Mitchell knows how to use a calculator. It's about 0.35% a year, roughly, right? 0.35. Right? So it's not even a percentage, but shit adds up. Okay. Now, as the percentages goes up, single and especially women, single women, they tend to spend more, right? If you're single and you don't have anybody to take care of, and you don't have kids, you're going to spend more money, right? It means that it's good for consumerism. It's good. It's good for. It's good for. I don't know where you shop at. For not Forever 21, but you know what I'm talking about. It's good for Nike. I don't know, Adidas, Gucci, Louis Vuitton, whatever, right? But you really have to really understand this type of movement too, right? Because women only date across and up, so it means that, oh, if you don't make more money than me, I'm not gonna date you no more, right? I'm not saying for all women, but most women are like that, right? Or maybe it's because there's too many variables, right? There's too many variables, but most women only date across and up. So if it means that if a guy doesn't make more than her, chances are it's gonna be a no-no, right? It's gonna be a no-no. And then so your chances of finding a guy that makes more money decreases, right? Of course, it's more variable to that, right? Because I've known girls that be like, oh, I won't ever date a guy shorter than me. Surprise, bitch. Surprise. It happens. It happens, okay? It happens. Yeah, I've heard that before. Never stopped me. Yo, what's up, girl? Yeah. All right. How's your day been? What you been up to? Okay. Oh no, you say you didn't want to date guys that was shorter than you. No, I understand. It's all good. But you're different. I know. What made you change your mind? Oh, okay. Okay. Right. Character. Build your character. All right. Another thing is I want to talk about become more sociable, right? The major key to your better future is you. So that's one of my favorite quote by Jim Rohn, right? So be more social. Be able to talk to people. And don't get me wrong, as easy as it is for me to talk on a mic, it's not always easy for me to talk to people, okay? So don't let that fool you, right? I get nervous sometimes. I sometimes words poop out of my mouth. I don't know. I say shit. Shit happens, okay? But what I would encourage you guys is somewhat sociable in person. Good. And work on it, right? Start with a podcast. And that's one of the best things that you could do is to start your own podcast, right? Maybe you don't have to post it up, just record yourself. Put it up, record yourself. And just start listening and then watch it back, right? You don't have to post it if you want to, but start a podcast. That way you could talk about certain things. And look, the things I talk about sometimes, like, Mitchell, you're all over the fucking place. But then sometimes they're like, no, that was actually a good podcast, Mitchell. Like, even though you kind of all over the place, you still kind of went back into it eventually. If you haven't noticed, a lot of what I talk about goes like, let's talk about this, and then branches out like, right? And then eventually I go back to it. You can't stand here. I can't neither, okay? I couldn't stand hearing my voice. Well, guess what? I still can't stand hearing my voice sometimes. But it comes with it. It just comes with it, right? I'm like, damn, if everybody felt like that, shit, it's gonna be tough. Bottom line, I'm a social butterfly. Let's break that, Zach. But anyways, the major key to a better future is you, right? That was one of the quote that I wrote down. That was in front of my mirror. Some people like deep voice. Some people like deep other things. Deep fried, deep other stuff, right? People like deep stuff. Let them have it. Let them have it, Zach. Let it go deep. All right, I know you're laughing, but let me finish. Become more sociable, right? Start a podcast, read, educate, apply, do things for yourself, right? If you go out there unapologetically and be yourself without fear of judgment, have a sense of direction, a hobby, something that preserves the joy in your life, attracting the right person will come, okay? I can't be the only one who doesn't think all over the place. No, you're not the only one. Deep this, deep dish, deep fried. Balls deep. Okay. Now you don't have to imagine things anymore. Right? So be yourself. Be genuine. I feel like a lot of people can't be who they are anymore. You know what I mean? It's like, oh no, they're gonna judge me for who I am. Well, I'm fucking silly, okay? I'm fucking silly. Get used to it. If you don't want to get used to it, just other people. Okay? Just go deep. Just go deep. Right? Yeah, just having a sense of direction and things you want and knowing what you want, going after it. It's like people could be upset, people could be mad, but it doesn't stop you from being who you are, right? It's so hard to be myself, that's for sure, right? Right? Because of fear of judgment, right? And trust me, I get that too. I'm like, oh shit, people are gonna judge me. You know what? They will forget about me. They will forget about me. Like I did a live, and I asked some people, and I was like, hey, I don't have a spare phone. I was wondering if you had Spotify on your phone or YouTube. Yeah, I just want to dance for like the people on my lives. If you could do that. No, I don't. I'm like, all right, sure, it's fine. Don't worry about it. You don't have to stress about it. Thank you. Anyways, have a good day, right? So I don't give a my stage in my life, yeah. But you got to break that shell a little at a time. Don't just look, Tracy. Like, take it little by little. You know what I mean? It doesn't mean go out butt ass naked, run down the street drunk, right? Like, don't do that, right? Maybe start saying hi. Maybe start with, hey, dude, can you tell me what time it is? Right? And then you can run butt ass naked if you want, right? Don't do that. Still don't do that. But you know what I mean. You know what I mean. Actively go out and do more things for yourself, right? Place a higher value on attracting that person that you want in your life. I'm going to watch this from the beginning later tonight. Thanks, Jackie. Appreciate you, man. But overall, like I said, there's no one size fit all answer, right? If you want to create the life and lifestyle that fits to your standards, then you have to be intentional with the work and with your work and effort. That's what it means, right? They say 45% of women will be like this and all that, right? Statistics. And I feel like maybe as true as it is, it doesn't mean it belongs to you. You know what I mean? Now this doesn't mean that like spend all your money on lottery tickets, because it's going to be kind of tough to win. But you know what I mean, right? Like, just because it's a 45% of women will be single by 2030, between ages of 25 and 44, it doesn't mean that it has to be you. You know why? Because you also understand that here's an example, right? Heterosexual relationship. Guys are visual creatures. But not only that, if you're not, let's just say you take care of your health. You take care of your body, right? But you're also a very smart person. But you also have this character. It's like you're just a kind, genuine person. And people fall in love with people that are kind, okay? That's not a constant asshole. Have you ever been constant assholes? Hashtag constant assholes. Those are the people that always find reasons to be upset. And they blame it on your ass, right? Constant, do people use hashtags anymore? I don't know, but constant assholes, right? Those are people that you just don't want to be around with, right? But being around someone that's easygoing, easy to get along with, they're joyful, they bring joy and light. It's like a ray of sunshine every time they fucking walk in the door. What's up, bitches? I'm here, right? Those are fun people to be around with. Deep. I see what you did there, Zach. All right. So here's the thing. Be intentional with your work, but create the life and lifestyle that you want, right? And if you're a planner, start planning things, right? Remember that your brain isn't a supercomputer. So if you're a planner, plan things, right? Avoid stuff like decision fatigue. Like, oh, I don't know what to wear. Have you ever had like something that's somewhat important, not like a wedding to go to, but like, you want to wear something nice, but then you don't know what you want to wear. But so you wait to the last minute, like, oh shit, I have 15 minutes before I have to leave and I didn't even do my makeup, or I didn't even do my hair, or whatever, right? And then you just put on whatever and you're just like, fuck, you regret it. Yeah, I've been there too, okay? Because you spend so much time trying to figure out what you want to do. You start like fatiguing your brain. Like your brain's getting tired already. You're not even into going out anymore, right? And it's just like it's kind of ruins it, just kind of destroys it, just brings you down, right? So decision fatigue, right? It deteriorates the quality of the decisions made by the individual as after the long session of decision making. So the example was not knowing what to wear or whatever, right? And so also I want to put this too, it's work on one thing at a time, right? Just focus on one thing at a time. Minimalism help with that. Exactly. You got nothing else to wear. You got the same old white shirt, Mitchell. Go ahead. It stinks, but you got cologne, you got Axe spray. They don't need to find out. Stand at a distance. Mitchell, why are you so far away? Man, don't worry about it, man. I like it here. Yeah, so working one thing at a time, right? Jim Rohn, the major key to your better future is you, but it starts with a thought. That thought becomes this decision making, right? And it becomes your behavior. It becomes your identity. So and you work like people, there's something about identity to people where if you try to tell them that they're not this, they would protect it with their life. You know what I mean? If that's your belief, they will protect it with their life, right? And so I do want to end it with this, which is a quote, two quotes actually, but let's start with this one. The man who chases two rabbits catches neither. I think it's Confucius. I smell that example. You got Axe spray. I don't use Axe spray, but I used to. Why are you standing over there? I'm my own business. You should try it. Yo, that's a good one. I'm minding my own business. You should try it. Let's do this. Here's one with James Clear. You only need to know the direction, not the destination. The direction is enough to make the next choice, right? So some people, they like to focus on like, oh, this is where I want to be. Like this is yeah, but this is where I want to be. But like they don't do anything, and so they wait for that perfect moment. There is no perfect moment. Just do something, right? Do something. And it's okay. Like there's going to be shitty people out there no matter what. But don't let that noise stop you from who you want to become, right? So Zach, you said you used to bench 320. Now you sound like Rice Krispie treats or Rice Krispies when you pour milk all over it and you got pop, 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 pop. You got those Pop Rocks back problems. So if you do, you might want to see a doctor if that's really happening. But also you want to, you got to take care of yourself. Just got to take care of yourself, right? And if you don't know, there's always help out there. And another quote from Jim Rohn, which was, we all love to help somebody that's willing to help themselves, right? So someone that's willing to help themselves, chances are people are more than happy to help. And, here's a quick tip, I guess you could say, right? Which is, if you ask somebody to do a favor for you, if it's like, hey, do you mind holding this water bottle for me? I really have to just tie my shoe or whatever, right? They'll be like, oh yeah, of course. And especially if they don't really know you, and you'd be like, wow, thank you so much. Or my jacket. Can you hold my jacket for me, please? Like, it's, I really have to tie my shoe. Thank you so much. And so you tie your shoe, and they feel like they did you a really big favor, but they just held your jacket for you, And then from there, you could just be like, oh, hey, how's it going? Right? Like, oh, thank you. Where you headed to? Boom. Conversation right there. Oh, you like to eat sushi? I love sushi too. We should probably go get some sushi sometimes. Right? What's one of your favorite spots? Because mine's over here, but I'm not telling you until you tell me first. Yeah, what else? Okay. So you like udon noodles. Okay, so you don't like the raw stuff. I like raw. So maybe you should try that. We should try that. We should try that sometime. Oh, no, I'm talking about sashimi. Yeah, and like tuna. Yeah. What were you talking about? All right, have a good night. Yeah, so anyways, by 2030, 45% of women will be single, okay? Statistics. Don't let that build anxiety. Don't let that scare you, but continue to work on yourself, right? You could be the exception, right? So like I said, if you guys do find this video content of value, share with your friends, let them know. Let's see. I think this got comfortable. That's why I got being uncomfortable. I'm not a woman, but I better be single. Yeah, this is just an example. These are just like things, you know. Yeah. Even studying so much, I feel like I just barely. I always figured out a way to be like, Mitchell, you don't know shit. Thank you, Tracy. I feel like I'm not gonna lie. This live, I felt like it was more improv than anything. Even though I was like reading a little bit off of that, and now I felt more disorganized today. I did eat. I ate some. I ate some cooked, deep fried tofu. What? Yeah, some more tofu. Different forms of tofu this time. But I love tofu. It's good. Yeah. Yeah. So, anyways, did I make it as? No. You good. You good. No. Today I felt. I think it's because my mind is kind of clouded a little bit because yeah, I really did feel like I was a little kind of, but yeah, I love tofu. This live is good. Well, thank you. I appreciate it. I'm gonna take that. It's mine now. Chevelin, those words, those are mine. All right. And yeah, no, I appreciate it. We are our worst critics, but we always find ways to try to improve on things, right? And I can't wait to share more great things that's happening in the future, right? Because hey, look, some people I know people that always focuses on a problem. I like to focus on what I could do out of something in the future. That's my choice, And I know things delay, things happen. And I will keep you guys updated whenever I do, but what I am going to say right now is there's going to be a time where I might not have a live for a period of time. It could be a few weeks, it could be a month, 2 months, I don't know. But when that does happen, it doesn't mean I'm leaving. It just means that some things are happening and I need to focus on other areas in the time being, but I will be back. Yeah. But I might still I might not do like videos like this for a little bit, a few weeks, maybe a month and I would say month and a half to 2 tops, but let's just push it because we don't know, right? We don't know the certainty of time, but when it does happen, I'll let you guys know. you better start applying that somewhere else. I'm gonna start sending you like Google Docs. Yeah, I'll let you know when. Yeah. Live was fired. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah, I was like, yo, damn. We was talking about standards, and I was talking about like women over here, and I forgot what I was talking about. I was like, all right. But yeah. One thing I do want to, before I go, I want to encourage you guys. Like I said, get a piece of paper, get a notepad, whatever. I don't care. Post it, stick it on the wall where you're gonna see it every single morning, which should be like the first thing you see, right? And use that and apply it to yourself, right? So whatever it is, it could be as simple as go to the fucking gym or start eating healthier, right? Minding your own business somewhere. I'm standing. Hey, why over there? I'm standing over here minding my business. You should try. Anyways, thank y'all for tuning in. I really appreciate y'all. Yeah, always a good time. But yeah, I'm gonna go eat a little bit more. It's been a long day. I'm in Shevlin, Jackie, if you're still in here, right? Tracy, thank you. Wow. All right. I'm out. I'll see you guys on the next live, right? Oh, and Shay, I didn't know you're still here. Thank you, Shay. Have a good night. Peace.